Our objective today is we will be able to find the exact value of trig functions for certain angles. Basically, we're doing what we did last time, only this time instead of finding all 6 trig functions for every problem, we're only finding the one they're asking us to look for. We're going to use the rules from last time. From the unit circle, x comma y is cosine comma sine. So sine is y, cosine is x. Tangent is sine over cosine. Cosecant is 1 over sine, which means flip sine. Secant is 1 over cosecant, which means flip cosine. Secant is 1 over cosine, which means flip cosine. And cotangent is cosine over sine. Remember, if the angle is not on the unit circle, add or subtract 360 or 2 pi. Remember, you flip sine and cosine to get cosecant and secant. That's what the 1 over means. It literally just means flip. Alright, cosecant of negative 5 pi over 6. Negative 5 pi over 6 is not on the unit circle. So I'm going to convert it to degrees. It's negative 150 degrees. It's negative, so I'm going to add 360, and that gives me 210 degrees, which is on the unit circle. That's the ordered pair, negative root 3 over 2 and negative 1/2. Remember, the first number is cosine, and the second number is sine. And they're asking me to find cosecant, which means I'm just going to flip sine. Cosecant is 1 over sine, but all that 1 over means is flip sine. So I'm going to take my negative 1/2, and I'm going to flip it, which gives me negative 2 over 1. And negative 2 over 1 is the same thing as negative 2. Alright, let's try this problem. Tangent of 11 pi over 4. 11 pi over 4 is not on the unit circle. 11 pi over 4 is 495 degrees. That's too big. It's more than 360. So subtract 360, and you get 135, which is on the unit circle. 135 degrees gives you the ordered pair, negative square root of 2 over 2, and positive square root of 2 over 2. Remember, the first one's cosine, the second one is sine. And they're asking us to find tangent, which is sine divided by cosine. So it's the square root of 2 over 2 divided by negative square root of 2 over 2. And if you recognize from the beginning, because you have the same number divided by itself, that's 1, and then you have one negative sign, so it's negative 1. Or you can go through the math, and you get the answer negative 1. Alright, let's try cosine of negative 11 pi over 3. Negative 11 pi over 3 is not on the unit circle. Let's change it to degrees. It's negative 660 degrees. Add 360. It gives me negative 300. Add 360 again. Gives me positive 60, which is on the unit circle. That's the ordered pair 1/2 square root of 3 over 2. Remember, the first number is cosine. The second number is sine. We're looking for cosine, so my answer is 1/2. We want sine of 13 pi over 4. 13 pi over 4 is not on the unit circle. Converted to degrees, it's 585 degrees. That's too big, so subtract 360. You get 225 degrees. That's the ordered pair, negative square root of 2 over 2 and negative square root of 2 over 2. Remember, the first number is cosine, the second number is sine. The problem wants us to find sine, so it's just negative square root of 2 over 2. Alright, let's try cotangent of 3 pi over 2. 3 pi over 2 is in fact on the unit circle. It's the ordered pair 0, negative 1. Remember, cosine, sine. And they want me to find cotangent. Cotangent is cosine over sine. So 0 over negative 1. 0 over negative 1 is just 0. Now we have secant of negative pi over 3. Negative pi over 3 is not on the unit circle, so convert it to degrees. That's negative 60. Add 360, and that gives you positive 300. The ordered pair for 300 degrees is 1/2 and negative square root of 3 over 2. Remember, the first number is cosine, the second number is sine. They want me to find secant, which means I just flip cosine. So I take 1 over 2, flip it to 2 over 1, and 2 over 1 equals 2. Alright, cosecant of 7 pi over 4. 7 pi over 4 is on the unit circle. It has the ordered pair, square root of 2 over 2, and negative square root of 2 over 2. And they want me to find cosecant. The first number is cosine, the second number is sine. They want me to find cosecant, which means I flip sine. So I take negative square root of 2 over 2 and I flip it. So that becomes negative 2 over the square root of 2. But I don't want to leave the root 2 in the bottom, so I multiply by root 2 over root 2. So that gives me negative 2 root 2 in the top and positive 2 in the bottom. My 2's are going to reduce, so I just left with negative square root of 2. And that's my answer. Alright, we have secant of negative 5 pi over 6. Negative 5 pi over 6 is not on the unit circle because it's negative. So change it to degrees. That's negative 150. Add 360. That gives me 210 degrees. That is on the unit circle. It has an ordered pair of negative square root of 3 over 2 and negative 1/2. Remember, the first number is cosine, the second number is sine. Secant means flip cosine. So my cosine is negative root 3 over 2. When I flip it, I get negative 2 over the square root of 3. But again, I have a root in the denominator that I don't want, so I'm going to multiply by the square root of 3 over the square root of 3, and I get negative 2 square root of 3 over 3, and that's my answer. Alright, I have cotangent of 4 pi over 3. 4 pi over 3 is on the unit circle. It has the ordered pair of negative 1/2, negative square root of 3 over 2. First number is cosine, second number is sine. Cotangent is cosine over sine, so negative 1/2 divided by negative square root of 3 over 2. Remember, when you're dividing fractions, the first number, the top number stays the same, the numerator stays the same, the denominator flips, and I change division to multiplication. So negative 1/2 times negative 2 over the square root of 3. My 2's reduce out. A negative times a negative is a positive, so I'm just left with 1 over the square root of 3. But with 1 over the square root of 3, I have a root in the denominator that I don't want. So multiply by the square root of 3 over the square root of 3, and I get the square root of 3 over 3. Last example, tangent of negative 11 pi over 3. Change that to degrees, it's negative 660 degrees. Add 360, that's negative 300. Add 360 again, that's positive 60. The ordered pair for 60 is 1/2 and then square root of 3 over 2. First number is cosine, second number is sine. I'm looking for tangent, which is sine over cosine. So root 3 over 2 divided by 1/2, which really means the square root of 3 over 2 times 2 over 1. My 2's reduced out, so I'm left with the square root of 3 over 1. Well, okay, so I'm left with 2 root 3 over 2, but my 2's are going to reduce out, so I'm just left with the square root of 3.